grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I'm a son of an all-powerful, perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict of multiple fellowships living in the miracle of recovery one day at a time. And I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, it's good to see you. It's been a couple of weeks. Talk to me about what's going on and how you're doing.
Well, I'm just grateful, Justin. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M, and I'm a grateful member of this program and many others. And Rico 12 is really my recovery family. And Justin, we have been having these conflicting schedules in the new year, and it's just like this time is just going by so quickly. And what's really happening for me is that I'm really slowing down. I'm really just slowing down, Justin, and realizing what a gift it is to be a human being. Like, this is not an overnight matter. And Justin, I'm coming in, so are you. I mean, this could be year 14 for me, and I'm just waking up, and I'm just realizing the human experience is just a gift. It's just such a gift to be a human. And I'm remembering, that's what our book is about, remembering who we are. So I'm grateful to be at this table. And I'm just in a great mood in this moment. Catch me an hour ago, and that could have been a different story.
I'm grateful to catch you now, and I'm grateful that you're grateful. It's an interesting, adventurous time to be alive, but it's great. It's amazing to be a human. So what we do with this project for people out there who may be new to Noodle It Out with Nikki is we take questions that we receive or run across in our daily lives as we work our recovery. We may hear them from our sponsees. We may hear it from the Noodle chat that's on WhatsApp group. We may hear it in the Noodle meeting that happens every Monday morning. But these are questions that we bring to Nikki and to the Big Book and find the solution that is in those questions. Today, I took a question from basically a conglomerate of people that I've been talking to recently, and I may be one of these people, but it's something that's kind of been loud in my life over the last month. But I'd like to ask this question and see what the book says. So, Nikki, here's the question. I seem to be like a freight train hauling through life. I never seem to be able to, quote, pause when agitated. I just tear through the agitation and destroy everything and anyone who agitates me. How do I get off this crazy train and recognize when that agitation comes in before I react and cause a big mess?
That's a big question, isn't it? Because I know that happens to all of us. And so, really, like, how do I get off the crazy train? Well, what I heard instantly, Justin, was page 60. We use the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, 4th edition, to solve and answer all problems from any experience, any fellowship, anything that you might be, eating at your soul, eating at your world. This book really, it's hidden in there. And why do we use this book, Justin? Well, because, you come from a different background with a religious Bible, and I've studied the Bible in my higher education and Justin's higher education and all of these, oh my God, the self-help books. I couldn't find the answers or the directions like I could in our Big Book. So everyone, grab your Big Book, because that's what we do here. And page 60 says, we practice these principles in all our affairs. So how do you get off the crazy train? Let's get very simple. You have to practice. And you have to practice every day. Page 85. Every day is a day we carry the vision of God's will into all our activities. I mean, I think that's what it says. I'm kind of paraphrasing. But this is what this is practicing. Right before we got on here, Justin, I was waiting for 2 o'clock, and thank God you were here and on time and early. And I had a new sponsee of mine call me, and he called me, and he comes from the SA rooms. That's the Sex Anonymous rooms. And he wanted to tell me he had this urge. And I said, are you going to call me every time you want to touch your penis? Because this is going to be a problem, sir. And we laughed because page 132 says we're not a glum lot. So I had to remind him, like, you have to remember what your job is. Your job is to be helpful. So if it seems like you're on a freight train hauling through life and things are coming at you, you have to remember what your job is. Your job is to be helpful. So what did I tell him in that moment, Justin? I said, did you even make your bed today, sir? And he goes, no. And I said, oh, but you have time to go and touch your penis? Like make it make sense. I said, how about it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast? And he's on the East Coast too. And I said, did you even eat today? You just left a meeting. See, like, these are the little things. So if you are like a freight train hauling through life, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. Why? Because this is not an overnight matter. Page 84. This needs to continue for your lifetime. So if you're not, let's go to the basics. If you're not, and I set up that video, and we could even put the link in here. It's an officer. He was doing a commencement speech, a naval officer, and he starts with make your bed. Like, everybody, if you're not making your bed, you have to start there. Otherwise, you will be a freight train. What does being a freight train have to do with making my bed? It's the little things. Where is that, Nikki? Let's all open our big book. It's on page 118. Okay? Because like the guy who just called me, my new sponsee, and we haven't even started to step one, and I'm excited to work with him because after me going, I can go real nuts, Justin. He said, thank you, Nikki. And I said, wow, we're going to get along, because most people say to me, that message is going to kill people. And it was a simple message. How do you have time, to touch your farfalla, ladies? How do you have time to touch your penis, men, when you haven't even had a meal today? When you haven't made your bed? Did you do your laundry? Like, this goes deep. It's the simple little things. So page 118 says you. That's you, Justin. And that's me, Nikki. Forget the second person. It says you and your husband. We read the chapter to wives, to the codependent, to the freight train, to the person who's agitated, to the sober, dry, drunk. This could be to anybody, to the person with a multitude of problems. You will find that you can dispose of serious problems easier than you can trivial ones. It's the little things. It's the little things. So are you pausing? Because I had an incident yesterday, Justin. My mom came to me and she says, you don't talk to me about things. And I said, I'm not here for your entertainment. You made your decisions in life. I said, look into the mirror, but you're living your life. This is my life. And I'm not here for your entertainment. I talk to you, I share with you, but when I talk to you, you don't even hear me. That's what I said to her. I said, honestly, you don't even hear me. So I saw that it was going to get into a heated discussion. And so what did I do? I didn't even say, let's talk about it later, because that's what this page says on 118. This is getting serious. I wasn't getting disturbed. I was standing in my truth. Why? Because back to, how do I get off the crazy train? You practice this every day, whether it's your mom in front of you, whether it's your wife, Justin, whether it's your children, whether it's your neighbors. You have to do this every day, because the other day too, Justin, I got an email. I'm in this thing with my lawyers, and there's with my neighbors, and there's lawyers involved, and I hit respond instantly. I didn't pause. The lawyer responded. I read it. I went into pause, and then I realized that God is doing for me what I could not do for myself, because instantly I remembered that this lawyer is making me page 275 in our big book, toe the line. See, I'm trying to argue for my limitations. Oh, I can't do this legal jargon. Can you guys just accept this? I'm just a low person. I'm not a lawyer. He said, this is the way the law is, Nikki. So what did I have to do? I have to accept, toe the line, accept the policies, procedures. So if your life is a freight train, are you towing the line in a 12-step program? Are you accepting the policies, procedures, and the programming of what we're in here right now? And once I realized, Justin, and accepted that this is God doing for me, I'm learning how to, the law. And then a couple days later, you know what? It might go in my favor. They might work around what I need. They've given me a little time extension, hopefully, to get the lawyer to help me with this stuff. You understand, this is not overnight. Tell me what you're hearing from what I've just talked about, Justin, because I've said a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, for me, I think this concept of practicing every day and not expecting perfection. We progress, not perfection in this. And that comes from the big book, Nikki. You'll have to say the page on that. I can't remember. But that's what this is all about is, today I'm recognizing times when I'm agitated. Maybe I've already, blown something up, but then that's when I do my step 10. I've caused some harm. I need to make things right away, as it says on page 84, right now. And then the next time after I've made it right and not just, passed by and went, well, I messed that up, I'm not going to go back to that. No, I need to make it right now. I then start to recognize things a little bit more quickly. And then I can pause rather than just blow up. This concept of practicing and it being something that we work on for our entire lives. This is powerful for me. And that's kind of where I'm seeing it. Nikki, do you have any other thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of people come in here and want everything instantly. I'm here 14 years and I'm just waking up. Why? You just said it, Justin. It's on page 60. Many of us exclaimed, what an order. I can't go through with this. Go through with what? The previous 12 steps that we just read every day. Admitting that you can't do life like you're doing. Your programming's off, that you're powerless and you need help. Every day believing that this power is going to restore you into your right mind. Number 3, that you're going to abandon. Step 3, every day you're going to abandon yourself. You're going to quit playing God. You're going to smash the idea. You're going to remember that the grouch and the brainstorm are not for you. It's a poison. And then every day you're going to make sure that you're searching fearlessly in your inventory, not in what your wife did wrong, not in what the lawyer did wrong, not in what my government did wrong. Then every day you're going to admit to somebody and call the right people, because just like the guy who called me, I said, you have an old sponsor who would take these calls and hear every time that you want to touch your penis. I don't have time for that, sir. And I pushed him right into the book. Your job is to be helpful. And right now, in the middle of the afternoon, when your bed's not made and you haven't prepared your meal and you have a workshop to go on tomorrow for 4 hours, and what's your day look like tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Did you print your workbook? Did you get your big, like all these things? He realized in that moment, he doesn't have time to touch his penis. Okay. Like, this is awesome. It's the little things. And then I get willing every day to stop doing what I want to do. I get humble. I remember that I have to make an amends to the entire human race because I'm in a spirit world. You are me, I am you. Change behavior. I continue to watch. I watch every day. Then I seek this power and I practice and I carry the message. Those are the 12 steps. So what an order. And it says, don't be discouraged on page 60, because here it is. No one, my line out says, including Nikki. I know Justin's going to write that too. Including Justin. No one, including Justin, has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. That job is for my radical friend named Jesus, for my friend the Buddha, for the Bhagavad Gita, for Gandhi. Come on, people. We are not saints. We are souls having a human experience. The point is, we, Nikki, Justin, we're willing to grow, to practice, to improve along spiritual lines. The principles that are set down are guides. We're being guided every day. Because you know how many times I've had that conversation with my mother, and I just said it. I stood tall as God's people, and I said it again. And then, I said to her, Mom, I keep telling you I'm not human. And then that look of fear gets in her eyes, Justin, and she goes, What do you mean? And I said, today I sent her a little YouTube video on what I meant. And then I just said, have a good night. You're like, this is your life. Look in the mirror. What do you want out of your life? And she goes, but I worry about you. I said, that's not your job. That's not your job. That's old programming. That's a low vibration. Don't put that juju on me. I don't worry about my children. That's not my job. My job is to be helpful. So why don't you be helpful? Continue to help me with the dogs. You're my roommate. You give me your rent on time. You organize the cleaning lady. Like, we have a good little life, but I'm not your best friend. I'm not here to validate you. And so when you stand tall and you tell people the truth, what's going to happen? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen if you're saying it loving, kind. And I was as loving and kind as I could be after repeating this to my mother, probably about, I don't know, I do this once every 6 months when she slips back into, and remember, everybody, we're all running the same show. We're all being driven by page 62, 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. So I remember what my book says, and we're on page 60 where it says, could you ask what page it's on? It's here, Justin. It says, we, and that's me and my brother, Justin. We just claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. And so, Justin, I'm really in the spirit world. So when things agitate me, I go, oh, that's Earth School. This is a test. This is an opportunity. Whoa, I didn't get that job. Whoa, what an opportunity to lean more into God. Oh my God, I didn't get what I wanted. Wow, God has something better for me. Remember, everybody, God, this power, the spiritual principle, only has 3 answers for you, because this is all about love. So number 1 answer is yes, Justin. Yes, Nikki. Number 2, not now, Nikki. Not now, Justin. And number 3, I've got something better for you. Yes, not now. I've got something better for you. That's all. God never says no. Look over your shoulder, everyone. Justin, come on. You need to go there. Come on. There's been some big worries. Everybody. This is 2026. When I look over my shoulder in 2020, I lost my big 6-figure job. I lost my rights. I mean, the things that have happened in the last few years. And when I look back, wow, all I see is miracles and fairy dust. That's on page 100, Justin. You know that one. We read it a lot here when we look back and we place, it says right here, like it's the guy, whoever asked, our fellow, it seems I'm a freight train. Well, the book says you're like a tornado, but it says, you have to pause when agitated. You can't do that. Well, practice. And it says, how do I get off the crazy train? Well, here it is. And you can read it, Justin, both you and the new man. Why don't you tell that person what they have to do to get off the crazy train? This is it.
I'll read that. This is page 100. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. That's a promise. When we look back, we realize the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates of a higher power. and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. Those are promises, and those are really cool promises. I need to persist, keep at it, and that's um one of the things that stuck out at me as you were talking about getting off the crazy train. You said slow down, slow the bleep down, and I think that's where the pause is. I often may find myself thinking, "Oh, I've got 46 things to do today. I've got to stay on the train. I've got to go as fast as I can to get all these things done." Um, no, I need to slow down, and God will make sure that the things that need to get done today get done. I'll be provided the time, the energy, the health, the whatever is needed, the resources to get those things done. And the things that don't need to be done today, they'll get done eventually. But I just need to slow the bleep down and tap into God rather than tap into the chaos, the agitation, the insanity that life may have in store for me today. So that's kind of my takeaways. Nikki, any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, you said something addicted to chaos. Everyone, put that on your list of addictions, please, because we have been addicted as society to chaos. See, there's something wrong. Everybody knows I have this, up and down, long-term, long-distance relationship with Mr. Luxembourg. And, I used to judge him well, I still do a lot, because he would just slow down. There was no rush. And I'd be like, hurry up. And now it's the shoes on my foot. It's like when I used to judge burlesque entertainers. How can mothers spin around a pole and, and still be good people? Well, then God put a 6-inch stiletto on me, Justin, and I learned the lesson. So now God is putting down the slow down shoe on me. And I realize there's nothing more important than like it would take hours in the grocery store because he has to smell the food, pick the food, but it's going into his body and he eats it. You should see this guy's skin. It's gorgeous. And it's like, so now I'm looking at the ingredients. I'm taking my time. I'm preparing my food. It's taking me time to wash, to sit down at the table. Justin, to set the table, to not just rush through to pray over my food, to be in the moment, to taste the food, to hear the birds chirping, to stop and smell the roses. Justin, you're a grandbaby, or you're a grandfather and you have grandbabies now, more than one. You remember when that first baby came out of Heather? And now they're making babies. Look how quick it went. Justin, we need to slow down. The money doesn't matter. The things don't matter. The house, the door getting replaced is it's like the screen on the windshield. What matters? I want you to hold your people today, everybody. I want you to hold your person today. I want you to hold your food and your meal. I want you to lay in your bed and give praise and thanks, because that's the only way you're going to get off the crazy train.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah, let's each of us that's listening and participating in this today, take a minute, step off the crazy train. Don't get back on it. There's no need to get back on the crazy train today. Step off the crazy train. Slow down. Things will fall into place. God will do for you, do for me, do for us those things that we cannot do for ourselves. Let's keep moving forward on this and press forward and work this, because we are worth it.